Hi guys! So I know that some of you have actually been wanting me to do some more reading vlogs, and I thought given the books I'm currently reading, it's actually kind of the perfect time. Also, I have holidays now, so plenty of time to read, plenty of time to talk about the books I'm reading, and also edit a video, so we're good on all fronts. So you can probably tell by the title, but I am currently rereading the Harry Potter books. If you saw my last book haul, you know that I got them from my boyfriend. I got the box set for the English paperbacks, and I hadn't owned them in English before. I only owned the 7th one because that's the first one that I was like trusting myself to get through in English, and also it came out in English before it came out in German, and I was dying to know what happened, so I only have that one actually in English. I don't even own it in German. So yeah, I thought I could possibly vlog this experience, and obviously holy shit, that was my computer. In true Theresa fashion, I realized this too late, and that means I have actually already reread the first one. I blazed through this yesterday. I was honestly just reading most of yesterday, and I couldn't put it down. It was so magnificent to be back in this world. Like I'd expected to like it, but I hadn't expected to sort of feel this wave of nostalgia just rushing over me, and like, I don't know, I was just so happy. And I did have some issues with the book. It's not a perfect book, I think. I gave it 4 stars. Compared to my recollection of it, it seems a lot more fast-paced, and like a lot of important events are kind of rushed through, I feel like, and like my memory, it took a lot longer to sort of deal with them, especially the parts when they're on their way to the Philosopher's Stone, you know, like under the trapdoor or whatever. Like that was literally a few pages, and in my memory it had taken so much longer to get through that, but I guess that's just because as a kid I was a much slower reader, and this is just the perfect pacing for middle grade books, I think, because that's, you know, children's attention spans aren't that long, so it kind of makes sense. It's just interesting to look at that like difference of perception now as an adult and back then as a kid. I also felt like the ending was extremely rushed. Quirrell has like an actual villainous monologue where he just like explains everything. There's no, you know, there's nothing more to it than that. He's just saying like, yeah, I did this and I did that and Voldemort did this, and I'm like, okay. So I guess that's how we find out. I didn't remember it being this like just spelling it out for you. On to the second book. So I'm currently reading The Chamber of Secrets, and I'm already halfway through this one too. These books, especially in the beginning, are such quick reads because they're also not that long, and they're just like so fast paced and just so readable. I love it. I had thought previously that Chamber of Secrets was gonna be one of my least favorite books because if you didn't know, I played the Harry Potter computer game for Chamber of Secrets specifically so many times because it was the only one I had, and I felt like maybe the story would be a little bit stale for me, but honestly, the computer games skip over so much of the story that it didn't really matter. So far it hasn't really mattered. Like, there's still plenty of stuff that I hadn't seen in the games 100 times over, and that I was still like newly kind of excited about reading about. So it doesn't turn out to be as much of an issue, and I think I'm actually liking this one more than I did Philosopher's Stone, so yay. I'm hoping to get through it today. I probably will, because why the hell not? And I'm actually leaving for my parents' house today, and I'm gonna be there over the weekend, and I am sort of struggling with myself on like how many Harry Potter books I should bring, because I don't know exactly when I'll be back. I don't know exactly how much time I'll have to read or like how much I want to read. So I am definitely bringing the 3rd and 4th books. The 5th book is just too freaking long to pack on like the suspicion of possibly having to read it or getting that far even. And the 4th book is already like 600 something pages, so cross your fingers that I don't just read all that in the next 2 days and then I'm like stranded and can't continue because the books are here. So yeah, I've been talking way too long about this now. I just actually wanted to tell you where I'm at in my reread, and I'll update you as I go. So it is now later today. I'm at home at my parents' house in bed because I'm getting sick. This always happens after my exams. Somehow my body's like, well, now we don't need to be healthy anymore, so let's just be sick. This happens literally every year, so I'm not even surprised. The good thing is, though, that I got to finish Chamber of Secrets. So far, I'm at the pace of one book a day, so we'll see how far we can keep that up. Probably not very much longer because the fourth book, starting from the fourth book, they're crazy long, and I don't think I can read them one a day anymore. But the second one was really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked it more than the first. I don't have anything particular to say about it except that there's another villainous monologue in this. I never noticed that before. I hope that's not a theme in all the books because that's not how I like to find things out. But other than that, it's pretty cool. But also, I started thinking that the cover is actually a really bad spoiler because for the longest time in the book they're like thinking about what the monster in the Chamber of Secrets could possibly be, and then there's literally a giant snake on the cover. Like, how obvious can you be? So I'm diving right into the Prisoner of Azkaban. I brought this in the fourth book, I don't know if I said that, with me, so we'll see how long it takes me. Well, I'm going back to Vienna in 2 days because we're still looking at some flats, so worst case scenario, I can always grab the other books as well. We'll see. So I'm just sitting here reading The Prisoner of Azkaban, about 100 pages in right now, and I just had a real unrelated thought that I wanted to share. So some people, because they were just on the, I forget what the animals are called, but they were on the carriages with the invisible horses that you only see when you've seen someone die, and Harry didn't see them. And I remember like hearing or like reading about discussions people were having over like he has seen his mother's death, so he should have been able to see them from the start, and he only sees them in book 5 after he's seen, or in book 4 after he's seen Cedric die. So people saying he should have seen him sooner because of his mother's death. And then I remember people saying no, because you have to not only see someone die but comprehend it and be able to understand what it means, which is like a weird caveat to it, I feel like that's very specific. And then some other people saying like, yeah, but he saw Quirrell die. And then that I was thinking like, did we even see what happened to Quirrell? Like, I read the book yesterday, but like, I feel like he just like, you know, noticed that his skin was burning him, and then he literally passed out and woke up in the hospital. Like, we don't even know what happened to Quirrell, and it's really weird, like, no one ever asked either, like, he just disappeared, and that's, to me, is like really weird, and I had never thought about that before. Like, that's really murky. Like, this entire business of Voldemort being a part of him, I honestly just want more information on that. And I feel like it's like really not explained. I don't know if I feel like there was something like that, explanations about that kind of in the later books a little bit. So we'll talk about it when we get there. But I still feel like that's really, there's like no explanation at all how he's like in this weird half dead, half alive stage after trying to kill Harry, and then he's somehow on Professor Quirrell's head, and it's just like a thing, and no one questions it, and then somehow he disappears or dies or something, I don't even know, and I never thought about the fact that we don't know what happened there, and it's kind of weird that there's like no more explanation than that. He just like wakes up, that's it. Maybe I forget something, but like, I don't have the book with me, or I would check again. But I feel like that's what happened, right? I read it yesterday, I should remember this. Good morning, and welcome to day 3 of my personal Harry Potter Read-A-Thon. It's Friday, and I'm sitting here in bed with some coffee. I love these mugs, they're so beautiful. Alright, update. Because I literally didn't do anything else besides read yesterday. I finished The Prisoner of Azkaban in less than half a day. Oh my god, can we just talk about how good this book is? Like, I loved it so much. I feel like this is the first book where Harry Potter really picks up. Like, yes, the first 2 books are also really good, but this is where stuff of like real consequence happens. This is where it becomes more of like an overarching story and not just like its own contained thing within each individual book, I think. That's just like my impression of it. the stakes are so much higher. It has so many awesome characters in it. I mean, oh, I forgot to mention, I really love Dobby in the second book, even though he's a little bit stupid. um, but well-intentioned. But I just love Sirius Black so much. I think he's such a cool character, and I love that he appeared in this. I'm already dreading his death. I'm gonna cry like a baby, I can already tell. But yeah, this book was fantastic. I love it. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. Also, I love Lupin, I forgot to mention. Like, honestly, at this point, yes, spin-off books of the series haven't all been great. I haven't read any, by the way, but from what I've heard, they haven't all been great. But I would love a story about the Marauders. Honestly, if she were ever to write such a thing, I would buy it instantly. Like, I'm not even joking. And tomorrow I'm going back to Vienna for the day, so you better believe I'll be picking up the last books and also taking them here with me just in case. Because I'm clearly a reading monster right now. I'm unstoppable. And I've now unofficially set myself the goal of wanting to read the 7 books in 7 days. So we'll see if that happens, because obviously these later books are a bit longer. But so far I'm on day 3 in the morning and I've already read 3 books, so I'm a little bit ahead. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I seem to have collected a few animals for my reading session. A little update. I am just over 200 pages into Goblet of Fire, and I'm actually wondering what that age line around the Goblet of Fire is supposed to do. Like, you could literally just ask someone to enter the name for you. That's like old enough. That should be enough, right? That seems so weird. And like Fred and George go to all the trouble of like aging themselves up a little bit instead of just asking someone in like the last year to do it for them. I don't get it. Seems like that would have been the easiest way to do it. Oh, and another thought. Both the students from Durmstrang and Beauxbaton, like, what are they doing while the tournament's happening? Like, they can't be taught, right? Because there's no other teachers from their schools. So they're just hanging around Hogwarts, wasting away their school year. That seems a little weird to me, just saying. Hey, so it is 12:15 at night, and I just wanted to give you a bit of an update because I haven't filmed in a minute. So I'm not finished. Don't worry. I'm on page 460 of Goblet of Fire. I'm really enjoying it. I spent so much time reading it today. I've obviously read all of those 460 pages and then about 50 from Prisoner of Azkaban still, so my brain is feeling pretty like full to say the least. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. As I said, I think the story kind of picks up more in Prisoner of Azkaban, but with this is definitely like a departure from the middle grade genre, I would say. Like, this definitely is more young adult type of thing. It's much darker and much more horrible things happen, obviously, and as we all know, there's even a death in it, so it's definitely a lot more serious, I would say, than the previous books. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And yeah, overall I'm just having a great time on this read-a-thon. I hope I don't burn myself out before I finish the series. That's like my main worry right now, is that I'll somehow like just not get all the way through because I'll just grow tired of it. Not so much of the books, or maybe of the books, but just of reading this much, because obviously setting yourself the challenge to read 7 books in 7 days, especially when some of them are so long, involves reading a lot. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna get ready for bed. I'm actually already ready for bed. Just need to brush my teeth. And then I'm gonna read like a little bit more until I get too tired and then go to bed, I guess. And then finish it tomorrow. And good thing is, I've said before, I'm going back to Vienna tomorrow. So I don't know how I'll do it yet with the 5th book because I'll definitely finish this before I leave. So I might get, I might get the 5th one on Kindle, on like Amazon Kindle, to read on the train there to pick up the paperback. I personally am actually of the opinion, I don't know if I've said this before, but if you buy a physical copy of a book, I think that you should also get access to the ebook for free, because there's literally like no extra effort involved in making an ebook and you already paid for the content, so I don't see why you shouldn't also get access to the ebook. So sometimes in those situations I like buy the ebook and then return it within a week, because then you get a refund. I don't know if it's like, some people might think, you know, that's a little iffy. I don't know. I think if you only do it occasionally and of books that you already own, like, I don't see why I'm supposed to pay like another 5 to 10 euros just to also get the book on my phone. Like, I think that makes no sense. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna go. I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning! I have just finished getting ready. I'm about to go back to Vienna just for the day to look at flats. And I didn't manage to finish the book. I still need like, let me check. I'm like, wait, like 60 pages, which is crazy. I only need about 60 pages, but I can't finish it. I have to leave in like 10 minutes. So I did download the 4th book onto my Kindle app, and I'm gonna try and finish it on the train or whatever. And then I'll have the 5th, 6th, and 7th book. I'll bring it back with me. I'll have it in Vienna, I'll bring it back so that I can read it. So yeah, that's it for this little update. I'm actually currently like literally right in the middle of the graveyard scene, and it's sort of distressing to have to put the book down and leave, but I have to because I'm gonna miss my train otherwise. And I've noticed this now, like all of these books so far have had like villainous monologues. Like this is like the theme of the Harry Potter books, especially Voldemort. He likes to hear himself talk, that's for sure. Like literally just explaining everything, and I'm not a fan of that. I've said it before, but whatever. No book can be perfect, not even Harry Potter. Hey guys, it is Sunday. It's already 7:30 at night, and I haven't given you an update on my reading at all in such a long time that I thought I'd just take out my phone and do it right now before I forget to do it again. Okay, so yesterday I managed to finish the 4th book on the train. I read the Kindle for the last few chapters. I finished it. I really enjoyed it. There was one thing that I was honestly just wondering about, because early in the vlog I was talking about Harry not seeing the thestrals. I think that's what they're called. I think that's what they're called. And those are like the horses that pull the carriages that you can only see when you've seen someone die. And supposedly, well, I'm now reading Harry Potter. Why am I holding it so weirdly? And the Order of the Phoenix. And this is the book where he sees them for the first time, but I noticed that at the end of the 4th book, when they leave Hogwarts, they actually take the carriages too. And there's only a really short line about it, but it just says something like Hermione, like they look towards the horseless carriages or something like that, and then it's like the end of the chapter or paragraph or whatever. And it's really weird, like he, with all other things considered, like with you having to see someone die and actually realize that there's someone that they're dead, like actually like comprehend what you're seeing. Harry saw Cedric die in the 4th book, and then later he sees the thestrals, but like he should be seeing the thestrals, but he's not seeing them, if you know what I mean. So that's a plot hole if I've ever seen one. I mean, sure, we don't read about like him going there and actually like mentioning how they're whatever, but we know that he takes the carriages back and he doesn't realize that he can see them. So Just saying. I think it's really weird. At this point, I'm just here like searching for plot holes. I don't know. But other than that, I really enjoyed the fourth book. It's definitely very dark, and now I am, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, I am just over 300 pages into the fifth book. Today is the fifth day, so it technically means that I have to finish this 800-page tome today, but honestly, I don't see it happening. I am sitting outside, as you can tell. I have made some tea in this funny looking mug, and I'm trying. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm trying, but it's just, like, I don't know if there's even enough time in the rest of today for me to read like 500 more pages. So I don't think I will be able to finish the Read-A-Thon in 7 days. I just don't think it's possible. Like, yesterday I spent so much time on trains and like looking at flats and running around that there was just no time, and I was with my boyfriend as well, so I didn't want to be like, okay, sorry, but I'm gonna read now, you do whatever you want to do, and I'm just gonna sit here read. Like, that's not very nice. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously gonna keep reading today. I have so much left to read, and I am really enjoying this. I'm so looking forward to the sections on Dumbledore's army. I already checked. I think that chapter is like in 40 pages, so I'm so excited. And they're just talking about it for the first time now, like starting something like that, and it's my favorite part of the book. But also, I find it really hard to read because of like the people like not believing him, not believing Dumbledore. It's just really frustrating. Like, it's like I want to be like screaming at them. I totally get when Harry loses his like cool with people, because it must be so frustrating to like know that you're telling the truth and that you're just trying to protect everyone, and like no one believes you, and like the media are telling lies about you, and I don't know. It's just like, if I find it hard to read because for that reason, because it's just like if it was me, I'd be like losing my mind over it. Let me just tell you. I'll still try to sort of stick to like maybe 8 days for the readathon or something like that, but it's frustrating because I really wanted to do it in 7 days. It would have been really cool. But I mean, it's whatever. It's just like my own thing, but still, I'm very ambitious and I want to do it, so I'm gonna have to stop filming so that I can get back to reading, and I'll talk to you later. Never mind that, because I'm back. I had another thought that I wanted to share about the Goblet of Fire, which I forgot to do earlier. So the entire point of the book is telling us that like Moody, or like Barty Crouch as Moody, was trying to get Harry through the Triwizard Tournament to get him to win the cup, touch the cup, because it's a port key, and port him to the graveyard with Voldemort. That entire plot seems really strange when you think that like Moody could have easily just handed Harry any old port key at any point in time and instantly ported him, like without going to the trouble of, first of all, like, I think Voldemort even made like the older Barty Crouch like reinstate the tournament, right? So going to the trouble of like getting the tournament reinstated, sending Moody to Hogwarts, okay, he would have to do that anyway, but like sending him to Hogwarts, teaching there for the whole semester, setting up the tasks and guiding Harry through all, like making sure he gets picked, and then guiding him through all the tasks and all that just so he would touch the port key at the end. Like, yeah, sure, they could have, that made it kind of look more like an accident, I guess, but Barty as Moody could have just given him the port key and then just like disappeared. Like, who would be stopping him? Like, while Harry is with Voldemort, he could have just disappeared. And I don't get why they had to go through all this trouble. Like, sure, that's what made the book interesting. No one would have wanted to read the book otherwise. If he had just like handed him like any old thing. But still, it's just something I was thinking about. Again, all of my time right now is like kind of devoted to finding plot holes. It's not. I'm also really enjoying myself, but like plot holes, okay? Plot holes. It is 2 a.m. in the morning. I've got 65 pages left, but I cannot freaking read them anymore. I'm too tired, so I'll do it tomorrow. See you then. Good night. Good morning, guys. It is Monday, like 10:30. As you can see, I've just gotten out of the shower. And more importantly, where is it? I have finished the Order of the Phoenix this morning. I think I updated it literally just before I went to bed. So I had about, I think, 60 pages left to read this morning. They went by so slowly, it felt like. But at the same time, it was like a really good point in the book. So I was really enjoying myself, like about the prophecy and stuff like that. So this is one of the book, like the first book really, where I felt like I hadn't remembered any of like the second half. Like in bits and pieces maybe, but like I had forgotten about occlumency, like totally. I'd forgotten what the weapon was. And I had still kind of remembered the prophecy, but that's about it. Just like in its barest bones, yeah. And that was really interesting for me to find out. Wait, can I just like put the camera down, or is that like really... I don't know if that's gonna work. That was really interesting for me to realize, like, because I think from the first few books I had still remembered like the big plot points, just like the details are missing, but from this one, like, big plot points were missing. I had remembered Sirius dying, but only last minute I was thinking he was gonna, like, I realized he was gonna kick it in this book and not in the sixth one. And, oh, that was also, I kept waiting for the Felix Felicis thing, the potion that Harry, like, gives Ron, I think, before Quidditch match. I was so sure it was happening in the 5th book. And then I like looked through the table of contents and there was no chapter titled Felix Felicis. And it's like, it has to be in this one. Like, it has to be. And then I Googled it and it's, I think, in the 6th book, right? It's when Slughorn is potions teacher, I think. And I think that happens in the 6th book. I don't know. Honestly, like, these last 2 books, I have almost no clue what's going to happen. I know they're gonna go looking for Horcruxes. They're gonna be in a cave at some point. There's more time spent in the Pensieve, I think, like just looking through thoughts of people, or maybe that already happened. It already happened, but like to its fullest extent, I don't know. Then obviously Dumbledore dies in the 6th, no, yeah, and Snape dies in the 7th, and then I think, and then loads of other people also die in the 7th at the end, obviously. Do I remember anything else? I'm trying to like pick my brain. Wait. Yeah, well, more of Snape's backstory, obviously. And beyond that, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's actually kind of exciting going into it, like having this like semi-knowledge of what's going to happen, because obviously I will recognize things when they happen. And I'm prepared for like people dying and things. But it's still almost like reading it for the first time, because I don't know the major plot point, like a lot of the like, you know, developments and things and events that happen and stuff like that. In this one particularly, I noticed it felt like Harry wasn't really doing anything. I think that's like a criticism that people sometimes have for him, that I have had for him in the past, is that he himself isn't really as effective. It's mostly just like he in collaboration with people, especially his friends, and then obviously Dumbledore. And as also I had this thought about Dumbledore, like he's supposed to be the best wizard that ever lived, or whatever, the strongest that ever lived, and he's the only one that Voldemort is afraid of, and he's so, like, he knows everything that's happening at any point in time. Then why on earth are they letting children do all these things? Like, yes, now they're 15, I mean, that's like, probably they won't be considered children for much longer, but especially in the first few books, like, if Dumbledore knew the whole time what they were doing, like, he should have jumped in much sooner. He shouldn't have just let children, like, I don't know, face Quirrell, or, I don't know, you know, face the basilisk and the mentors. And I know he was like called away at like a lot of like important moments, but I feel like once it's happened once or twice, Dumbledore should know, like, maybe I shouldn't answer this call, like call for my help or whatever right now, because it might just be another decoy or whatever. Their whole point, again, I'm having a problem with the point of the book, or like the point of the plot, which is that Harry is lured by Vision of Sirius to come to the Ministry of Mystery, a Department of Mysteries, right? To pick up the freaking prophecy. Because Voldemort himself apparently can't enter the Ministry, even though it's completely empty of any wizards that are not on his side, and even though he eventually does actually end up there. First of all, why was the Ministry empty? That's never answered. I was waiting for that point of like, why is nobody here? What happened to everybody? Like, they never said. They're just not there, I guess. They're just like, I don't know, on holiday? But I'm assuming the Ministry of Magic is such an important place, there's always gonna be somebody there, right? There should be. So what happened to these people? And if it was that easy to get rid of them, to lure Harry there to pick up the prophecy, literally Voldemort should have just like gone himself, like, straight away, because then the whole Order of the Phoenix wouldn't even have come. They only came because Harry was there. And if Harry wasn't there, he could have just like waltzed in there and picked it the fuck up. I mean, I know all of this has to happen because otherwise there's no plot, but like, let's just think about it for a minute. How does this make sense? And this isn't the first time I've said it before with the Goblet of Fire. Like, Voldemort's schemes are so idiotic. Like, they don't make sense. They're not the easiest way. I'm losing my voice for all the ranting. One more thing, I also thought that the Dumbledore's army segments would be much longer. Like, in my memory, I think that's because like that was the most important thing that I remembered from the book, and as I said before, this is like my favorite part of the section of the book whenever they like get together and do that, because I think it's so cool. And I was just like, in my memory, it just seemed like they were much longer and they were doing much more. Now I'm gonna take off my Quirrell turban and show you Lord Voldemort. No, just kidding. But I'm gonna stop here because I'm not even finished with the books, and I am already talking way too long about this. I was gonna do like a little wrap-up thingy at the end, but maybe there won't be time because this video is already gonna be enormously long, so we'll see. But I will grab some breakfast now and read the 6th book, and then I'll update you later. Time for a little update, you guys. I'm just sitting here with my cute little doggy. Excuse the mess that my room is. I clearly have not had time to tidy. I did just edit my video for tomorrow. That's almost done exporting, or just done exporting, and so that's good. I was thinking of like maybe not doing it because I was like, I need to read, but I did it, so I didn't want to like miss a day to read, basically. That's not, that's a lie. I'm not like almost done. I just put it in and then didn't place it back. I think I'm about 140 pages into it, so I have 400 left that I need to be reading today. I'm about to go to Vienna, so there's some time to read on the train, so we'll see. We'll see what's happening. I'll keep you posted. So if I'm enjoying it, I think this is definitely the first one that I'm like remembering the least so far. Where things seem less familiar, I guess. And I think I've only ever read this one once or twice, so that's probably why. Back with another update, again from the middle of the night. It's currently like 1:30 a.m. Technically it's already day 7, but I only just finished The Half-Blood Prince. Read this entire book today, feeling really good about it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I think that this and the 3rd book are like both my favorite books. I can't really put my finger on it. I think the 3rd book still had that sense of innocence while still having high stakes, but preserving like the sort of middle grade sense of the earlier books. And this one is so different on so many levels. It's so much darker, it's so much more serious. Um, so many horrible things happen, and I found it so interesting learning about Snape's backstory, more about Voldemort's backstory, which is like the most interesting. I think any book series that can create like a villain that has an actual life story, that has like lived through things and has suffered, you know, those are the most believable villains. Those are the ones that you know, are actually that you actually care about, because, you know, evil for evil's sake really isn't all that interesting. Um, I don't think I have anything too negative to point out here, except that this is the first book. That's one thing I noticed. This is the first book that they claim that, like, what's it called? Alongside apparition or something, where you can just like go with someone that can apparate, comes up, and I'm just like thinking like the amount of times that that could have been useful in previous books. This book also definitely made me crave more backstory on Dumbledore, which I think we get a little bit of that about his sister, I think, in the 7th book, if I'm not mistaken. I have like a vague memory of that happening, but I can't really tell. And least of all right now, because maybe you can tell my eyes are like literally falling shut because I'm so tired. Anyway, so tomorrow I have the whole day, like no plans for the whole day except for at night meeting my friends, so I really have to read the book in the whole day. Like, I'm gonna get ready for bed now and then start it, like read a couple pages just to, you know, get started, and then we'll have to hunker down tomorrow. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy that I might actually be able to finish this challenge. Like, I didn't expect it. I literally wasn't even planning to do that in this all in 7 days when I started the reread, but like then it just happened, I guess. I don't know. And now I'm just really craving that sense of accomplishment of doing it in 7 days. Good morning! Oh, there's so much dust on my camera. It's the final day of the Read-A-Thon. I'm really excited to get done with it because I've been reading nonstop for pretty much 7 days straight, and it's slightly, you know, I'm slightly getting over it. Obviously I'm reading the Deathly Hallows, can't speak. Right now I'm about 180 pages in. So I've got like 440 to go for the rest of the day, and it's already 1 p.m. so looking bad. But I have thought that I might, you know, sort of cheat, but not really, because like 7 days, I will do like 7 days from the start of me reading the first book, and like days in terms of like 7 times 24 hours, so that I think I started the book on Wednesday like afternoon, so that the first book, so that means I'd have like tomorrow morning still to read, which I think I will need, because right now I was trying to read and I kept just like checking the page number just constantly, and not really like focusing on the story, so I thought like I should take a break. And also I need to upload my video, which I'm about to do right now, and I also realized I haven't been updating any social media at all, like specifically Goodreads. On my Goodreads it still showed me currently reading the 4th book, because I've literally just been like pruning all activities that aren't necessary from the last few days, so that I could just like spend every waking moment reading, and I just haven't had any time, or like felt like I had the time to update anything really. Which is why I guess I'm doing the vlog, so at least then, you know, I can upload something after. A little bit of a reading update. I am currently on page 251, and I remember why I don't think I read this book more than once. I'm not liking it all that much. Like, honestly, the sections of them just hiding in this stupid forest where nothing's happening, and they're just getting more and more frustrated, and I'm just getting more and more frustrated because nothing is happening, aren't my favorite. Like, I'm really not enjoying it that much. I mean, they're not that long, admittedly, and they're sort of breaking up from the Ministry, stealing back the Horcrux from Umbridge. That was pretty cool. But apart from that, there's just nothing going on. I don't care to hear about them, like, whining about their issues and, like, oh, we have so many doubts. Like, it's so frustrating. Just get a move on. I don't care. Just do something. I feel like Ron right now because he's just straight up complaining to Harry at this point. And I feel like I want to join in. Okay, time for a little final update before I go. Because I'm about to head out and meet some friends. So, this is it. This is all the reading time I had for today. Unfortunately. I'm on page 367. So I still have like 260 pages to go. And I'm hoping to be able to finish that at some point tomorrow. I might bring it with me. Let me show you my bag. My room is still a mess. I'll tidy up tomorrow. This is the size of it, so it literally just fits in. I will say the second half of the book is so much better than the first. The first half was actually painful to get through, and then after they meet with, like, Xenophilius Lovegood, it picks up, like, the pace picks up, everything, like, the frustration stops, and it's just, like, more excitement from there forward, and yeah, I just like it so much more right now than I did, like, the first half. I haven't vlogged in, like, a day, pretty much. It is 9:30 p.m. on day 8, and I finished The Deathly Hallows. My thoughts on this book are very conflicted, because I violently dislike the first half of it. It's boring and very long-winded and nothing happens and it's just frustrating to read. But I love the second half. And I was full on crying by the end of it because it's so beautiful. That being said, the final chapter, like the epilogue, already bothered me when I read it for the first time because it felt so contrived and quite cringy, to be honest, and I have like had the exact same reaction this time around. I felt like it was just so pandering, kind of, like fan wish fulfillment, all these children now, and like all these names, just like randomly people that we don't know, right? Because obviously they weren't born when the actual books were happening. So then there were like lots of sentences where it's like, this person, this person, this person, this person were laughing, and I'm like, it feels so weird. Like, it feels like it doesn't feel like they're real people. It feels like they're just like names tossed out there, and particularly Harry and Ginny's children, like all of them are named after other people. So I don't know. It's just not my favorite. Honestly, I wanted it not to be in the book when I read it for the first time, and I still want it not to be in the book. I think it kind of ruins it a little bit. Not like by a lot, but it detracts from the ending as it would have been. I feel like they should have left the book at sort of, you know, the picking up the pieces stage. I didn't need a happily ever after that. I just wanted, you know, Voldemort's dead. We've lost so many people. Let's take a minute to think about them, and then we'll start to build up this like magical society again. And I didn't want that. I didn't want this ending, particularly again because it felt like they were just like trying to grasp at straws of like everybody's reappearing. There's Teddy Lupin, there's Draco Malfoy and his son, and it's just like I didn't need it. I didn't need it, and I didn't want it. And that's the truth of it. And it makes me kind of almost mad that it's even part of it, because it just kind of feels like fan fiction even. Like, I have not yet read The Cursed Child, and I won't, because I know that's also what people think about it, but how people feel about it. But that's sort of how I feel about the epilogue too, because it's, I don't know, it just feels wrong. And like, not like the rest of the story to me, and like it's not an actual part of it. So I was just sitting here editing this vlog, and it turns out it's literally 45 minutes long already. So I won't add any additional like discussion of the books that I was going to do in this video. I'll do it in a separate video, so definitely look out for that. But I will end this vlog here. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel. I had a really great read-a-thon. I really enjoyed myself. I'm really glad I vlogged the experience because it just really helps to like record your thoughts as you have them, and by the end of the book you might have completely forgotten either the thoughts or like where you had them or just like the situation, and it's just like, kind of a lot more real if you literally just like talk about it in the moment, right? So that's why I like doing these types of vlogs. I hope you guys enjoyed them too, and come back for the Harry Potter discussion video that I have coming up, and I will see you then. Have a lovely week. Bye.